Welcome to Frontline News from the University of Maryland School of Medicine News Center. I'm Larry Roberts. Coming up, the Novavax vaccine moves closer to final approval, and Dean Reece enters the Baltimore Sun's Business and Civic Hall of Fame. But first, a new School of Medicine study is shedding new light on the problem of overtreatment with antibiotics. The study surveyed more than 700 primary care clinicians in 8 states about their approach to an asymptomatic case.
We administered a pretty standard bread and butter case to them, which was an older gentleman who came in with knee pain and mentioned that his urine smelled funny. And then we asked them, based upon this information, how likely is he to have a urinary tract infection, and would you treat this patient?
More than 70% of the doctors said they would prescribe antibiotics in this case, even though the guidelines recommend against it.
What we've learned with time now is we have a rise in antibiotic resistance, so the antibiotics start working less and less as the bacteria develop defenses against them. But also we know just for an individual patient, if you get antibiotics, there's a risk of having an adverse drug effect, such as having a drug rash or having an infectious diarrhea type condition that can come from them.
The research team is also focused on understanding the reasons why some doctors may overtreat patients with antibiotics.
I think this gets back to a problem we have in medicine, which is sometimes described as action bias, that it's a lot easier to do something than to do nothing. And so this patient mentioned some concerns that he has. It'll take a lot longer to explain to the patient, that probably does not reflect a disease, and here's what we'll do to monitor it, and if it gets worse, you can come back and provide the reassurance, versus giving them a prescription which provides all of that at once, and certainly fits, I think, some of the standards that people are used to, which is that you get a medication when you go to see a doctor.
Dr. Morgan says aspects of a doctor's personality, culture, and training all influence how they treat a patient. An FDA advisory panel has recommended final approval of the Novavax COVID vaccine tested by the Center for Vaccine Development and Global Health. Unlike mRNA vaccines, Novavax is a more traditional protein-based vaccine.
It causes less sore arm, almost no fever, fatigue, illness, some of the other symptoms that you can see after the other vaccines occur at a much lower frequency and are mild after this vaccine. So that's a clear advantage.
Novavax would provide an alternative for those who don't want bioengineered vaccines like Pfizer or Moderna, or a viral vector vaccine like Johnson & Johnson.
It's a vaccine platform that people understand better and are more comfortable with. And I have great hopes that this will help to comfort a portion of the population who has vaccine hesitancy because they're uncomfortable about messenger RNA, and that they will go out and get vaccinated and protect themselves.
Dean Reece is a new member of the Baltimore Sun's Business and Civic Hall of Fame. Dr. Reece was honored for his leadership in the community and at the School of Medicine.
Dr. Reece has doubled the school's research funding and clinical revenue, expanded the clinical practice locations tenfold, and overhauled the medical curriculum.
As was said, I'm finishing my 16th year as dean of this great institution, and it's been a wonderful ride. The city has been embracing, the city has been supportive, and it's really been a joy to work collaboratively with the city leaders and others in this area. I'm reminded of a quote from Michelangelo, who said, and I quote, "The greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but setting our aim too low and indeed achieving that mark."
Also recently, Dr. Robert Gallo, co-founder and director of the Institute of Human Virology, was awarded the Distinguished Alumni Award by the University of Chicago Medical and Biological Sciences Alumni Association for his lifetime achievements. And Dean Emeritus Dr. Donald Wilson received the 2022 Watkins Saunders Award given by the American Heart Association. The award recognizes those who are dedicated to addressing the issue of ethnic and racial disparities in healthcare. And that's Frontline News. I'm Larry Roberts. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.